Hi, in this video I'm going to go over adding a 3D model to our zombie and adding animations to our zombie, at least basic ones. So to be able to do this, the first thing you need to do is download this Modern Zombie Free package, which is in the asset store and is free. And you're also going to want to download this Move Motion Free pack, which is also free, which has a zombie walk animation. And yeah, we're gonna somehow retarget this animation and make it work with this model. So yeah, and basically what we're gonna do is change the animation depending on whether he's wandering or chasing our player. Okay, so we're going to the Unity editor. Here I have the scene where I left off, and the first thing you want to do is import those two packages. So if you import them both, you have the Move Motion Pack folder and the Zombie folder, which has all the resources to make this. So first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to make this, instead of the capsule, change it to a model. So to do this, we're going to move our capsule until it touches the floor. About there. Yeah, somewhere around there. The next thing we're going to want to do is go and see, remember we have this cube. If you made this cube as a child object, to see the direction, we're going to want to disable this cube. We're going to later remove it because we won't need it anymore. The other thing we're going to want to do is disable the mesh renderer. That way we don't see the capsule. So I'm going to disable that. We can later remove the component once we're finished. Okay, so now our AI is completely invisible. Next thing we're going to want to do is go to our zombie folder and scroll down, and we can see we have two objects here. We have a zombie rig and another zombie rig. One is a prefab and the other one is a model. You're going to want to grab the model and go to rig and make sure it's in humanoid. This is important. So yeah, and then you're going to grab the model. Don't grab the prefab because for whatever reason the prefab does not work with animation. So you're going to want to grab the model, drag the model to our zombie in the hierarchy, and drop it. So now our zombie is a child object of our zombie. Basically, the model is a child object of our zombie object or AI. So the next thing we're going to want to do is move this to the base of the floor and scale it down so that it matches the collider width. I think that works pretty well, maybe a little bit more, something like that. So now our zombie sort of takes up the same space as before. We can adjust this later, but the scale looks pretty good for now. Remember to scale down the model and not the actual zombie object. So yeah, the next thing we want to do is fix the shirt, hands, and pants material, which is gray. So the author of this package already has materials made for this. So we're going to open up the zombie and then the materials folder. And we see we have these materials. I think this one is the shirt. Yes, this one is the shirt. We're just going to drag it to the shirt. I think this one is the hand, maybe. I think so. Yeah, that's the hand. And the other one, which is this one, should be the pants. And yes. So now our zombie is correctly textured. The next thing, what we're going to want to do is go to our Move Motion Pack, and we're going to have the zombie controller here. I'm going to delete it so I can make it up again. We're going to go to our animations pack, and when I right click here, I want to create an animator controller. We're going to call it zombie controller. This is basically going to control all of our animations. So we can select the zombie model and drag it to the animator component. Later, we click on the zombie controller and we go and open the animator tab. If we don't have the animator tab, we go to Window, Animator. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is grab our move motion pack, open up the res folder, and then open up the animation clip folder, and open up the free walk folder. We're going to not use root motion, so the free walk should be. And if you click on each one of these, we get a preview on the right of the animation. For example, I selected the zombie one, and if we play it, we can see the loop here, and then it loops and it walks infinitely. So we're gonna want to use this for the zombie to walk. So yeah, that's the one for wandering, and maybe we can use one of these runs for the zombie chasing. Obviously, they aren't as realistic. They don't look like a zombie, but it will have to do. There are other animation packages in the asset store. We have many zombie animations which you can use to replace these. So yeah, we're gonna use one of these runs, or maybe this one. We can use any of these, but we're gonna use the zombie walk for the wandering. So we're gonna grab this and drag it to our animator, and you can see that this created a new state in our animator. This is the default state. Basically, if we hit play now, I believe what should happen is the animation should play. As you may be able to see, the zombie is already walking somewhat okay. Maybe we're gonna have to adjust the speed so that the zombie actually runs or walks at a synchronized speed, because right now it looks like he's going too fast for the animation, so it looks like he's sliding a bit. So yeah, we can adjust that, but as you can see, the animation is already working. The next thing we want to do is add our other state. I'm gonna use this basic run 1 to represent my chase animation. If you have another animation, for example a zombie running animation, you can grab and put it here. So we're gonna want to create transitions between this state or animation, the zombie one, and the run one. This transition is only going to be done when we change from the aware state and the unaware state in our zombie AI script. So to make a transition, we're gonna right click and click make transition. We're then gonna be able to select our basic run, and we're gonna create a transition from the zombie walk to the run. And then we also want a state to go back, just in case at some point later on we lose the player. Maybe we want a transition from run back to the wander or walk. So yeah, now we have both transitions. The next thing we want to do is add a condition for each transition to change. To do this, we're gonna click this plus icon. Make sure you're in the parameters tab. Click plus icon and click bool. This is a bool. Basically, it's just gonna represent if the player or the zombie is aware, or if he's chasing or whatever. It means the same. We're gonna just make it aware. And if we're aware, then this transition needs to happen. So if we go here on the right on the inspector and we scroll down, we see a conditions list. We can click the plus icon, and here now we have the aware transition. We can select aware and make sure that for this transition to happen, it needs to be true. So select true. It's already by default. The next thing we want to do is disable has exit time. Don't forget that. Next thing we're going to do is head back here. Also disable has exit time. And then add another condition, which would be aware. But this time, if aware is false, then we go back. And that's basically all there is to it. We have this condition that we're going to change by script. And basically, if it's true, we go to this state. If it's false, we go back to that state. And that's that. So yeah, that's basically all of our animator. It's a very basic animator. If you have many animations, you can create really complex animation states, and obviously you have to script it all, but you can make some pretty nice realistic animations, transitions with the animator. Okay, so we're gonna go now to our script and script all of this so that the transition happens, and we're gonna also adjust the speed of the zombie so that it's synchronized with the animation. So we're gonna go to our script. So we're going to scripts, AI example. We're gonna open our AI example, and we're gonna create another variable, which would be float wander speed. And let's make this 4f public float chase speed. I'm just throwing random numbers. So basically, wander speed would be the speed of the zombie when he's wandering, and chase speed would be the speed of the zombie when he's chasing. So now what we want to do is open our I'm sorry. We need our chase speed, and then the next thing we need is a reference to our animator. So we're gonna create a private animator variable of type animator. We call it animator, and we're gonna make it animator equal get component in children animator. That accesses the animator so that we can have it stored in this variable. Get component in children is used because our script is on the zombie object, but the actual animator is in a child object, which would be the zombie rig. So to be able to access this component, we're gonna need to use get component in children. So yeah, now we have a reference to our animator, and I think that's all the variables we need. So the next thing we need to do is actually we can comment off this renderer, change color of the renderer, because we no longer have a capsule. We're going to visually see by the animation if he's chasing us or not. So we're going to comment off that code, maybe later delete it. So now what we're going to do is animator dot set bool, and we're going to pass in a string which would be the name of our bool. Remember that we created a bool in the animator that's called aware. So the name would be aware, and then we pass in the value. In this case, since is aware, we just pass in true. Here, if we're not aware, then we pass in false. Animator dot set bool, and then we do exactly the same, aware false. So yeah, basically that's that. This will change the animator's bool here, and depending on this, the animator will know which animation to play and which transition to do. So yeah, the next thing we want to do is actually modify the speed. So we're going to do agent.speed equals wander speed here. And here, agent.speed will equal chase. No, actually it would be upside down. Here would be chase speed, and here would be wander speed. There we go. So yeah, I think that's all there is to it. Let's try that out. Okay, so the zombie, he's gliding too much. So when he's going too fast, we're gonna have to adjust. That's why I made this variable, wander speed. I'm gonna have it to 2. Let's try that. It looks a little bit better, maybe even less. 1.25, maybe. Let's see how that works. That looks much better. Looks like he's walking now. Okay, so the walking works. You notice though that he's walking sort of diagonally weird. So actually that's a problem with the animation, but yeah. There's really not much we can do about that. And the other thing is check the chase speed. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be too fast, so I'm gonna probably reduce this to 3. See what happens. Okay, so yes, let's go and check out our zombie, which is wandering. Then as soon as he sees me, he starts jogging towards me, which is totally unrealistic, but at least I can show you that this concept works. So yeah, I don't know, maybe we can make it a little faster. You can adjust the speed. I don't know, this sort of looks okay. I'm gonna repeat that. So he's wandering randomly, and then if we touch him, he sees us, and then he starts chasing us. And if we change it to the waypoint wandering, he will wander in the waypoint, using the waypoints, going to waypoint 1, and so on. So everything is working correctly. Now he saw me, and now he's jogging towards me. He almost looks human, though. Huh. So anyways, this is the end of that. This is like mostly all the basic AI concepts are here. You have the zombie model, the animations. There's many things that can be done to this, but yeah, I'll be uploading this project. I think I'll be finishing it here for now. I might continue this, but adding more of player mechanics, meaning like shooting or attacking the zombie and the zombie attacking back. But the actual AI concepts of stealth are already here. You can do many things with this. I think though that it's more important that you know this than, for example, know the attack mechanics or whatnot, because shooting tutorials are very common, but zombie AI really isn't. So yeah, I guess this sort of explains how I did it in my game. So anyways, I really hope this was of help, and I hope you learned something.